Welcome to the Books Between Friends podcast.
3 lifelong friends,
one shared obsession.
Books.
From epic fantasy to page-turning thrillers.
We dive into the stories we love
And the ones we just can't stop talking about.
So take a seat,
Grab a drink,
and get cozy.
All right, book friends. Speaking of cozy, what's been keeping you guys cozy these days? For me, as you guys know, I have a weekend job that I'm usually working most Saturdays. And this weekend was actually the first Saturday that I didn't work at all. So I had like a completely open weekend to do whatever,
awesome.
which I cannot
Love it.
remember the last time I had a full weekend where I wasn't working or we weren't traveling for the weekend. So literally nothing was planned and it was amazing. And so with all that time I had on my hands, we ended up actually binge watching The Studio, which is an Apple TV show that came out, I think earlier this year or last year. But you guys, it was so good. It's a comedy about a movie production studio and like the executives at that studio. And it's hilarious. If you like all those like workplace comedies that are pretty popular, this is definitely one you should watch. But
Okay.
it's a lot more like cinematic, and I like the way that they like the style of the show is really well done.
So then after this, you're definitely going to watch Ted Lasso, right?
Maybe. We also started watching Severance, but I'm not sure if Ted Lasso is for me.
Dude, Severance is so good. Okay. I can't
Yeah,
wait to see
we're
what you
like
think
2
about that one.
episodes into it right now, and right now it's like just weird. Like
It
I don't
is,
know what's
but
going
it's
on.
so good. I
But
promise.
it's
Like,
it's
stay with-
interesting.
Stick with it. It's so good.
Yeah.
I have not seen Severance, so
It's
Okay.
need to-
it's like it's a mind fuck of a show. It's so good though.
So far
Really?
so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy,
The
but
concept is really
like, in a good
weird.
way.
Like it's you have like 2 personalities, I guess. Like you have an innie and an outie, and so like this program is where you can literally detach yourself from having a home life and a work life, and they are 2 different people, but you're still one person. It's
yeah,
so
no,
weird.
so like people that
It's
work
really
for this
good, though.
company go through this medical procedure that causes you to completely forget your home life when you're at work
Mhm.
and your work life when you're at home.
Yep.
So that's why it's like there's 2 different versions of you, and
Yep.
they call it your innie and your outie.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm telling you, it's a
It's
mind fuck of a
interesting.
show. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very dystopian, like that concept.
Very, yeah.
It's really good though. I definitely recommend it. I don't know about the like feeling cozy when you're watching it because you're just like, what the fuck is happening half the time? But
Well,
it's really good.
TVs and movies are my like comfort zone, especially doing that at home. So that's the element that keeps me cozy.
True. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you finally got a weekend to yourself. I know you really haven't had one in a while.
I never do. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so for me, y'all, my birthday was just yesterday. So
Yay.
I ended up taking
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I took
35.
Friday and today off, so I've had a 4-day weekend.
So worth
I have
it.
done everything. Like Friday, I think like I cleaned because I have like been neglecting my house. Saturday, I went to go get my nails done, and then I went to the bookstore and spent way too much money at the bookstore.
It doesn't
And
count on your birthday.
It doesn't, right? And honestly,
Yeah.
it was kind of a bad idea to go while I was already a few drinks in, because I was just like, oh, I want that one. Oh, I want this one. Oh, I want this one.
Well, you went to a bookstore with a wine bar, right? So like they know
Yes.
what they're doing with that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I bought like 2 special edition books because they look so pretty, and then like 2 regular books. It was crazy. And then we just had dinner with my family, and then on Sunday we went to brunch. It was just a really great weekend. And today I like slept until 10:30. I have done nothing but read because I didn't get to read this weekend since everybody was in town. And one of my presents is actually right here. So my
Yay.
sister-in-law and my brother made me this banner for our podcast. And so I was just really excited to have it up, and I really wanted it for our episode today. So I hope you guys like it if you're watching our YouTube channel. But yeah, it was a really great,
It's so
cozy
cute. I love
weekend.
it.
It looks so good.
Thank you. What about you, Ethan?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what's been keeping me cozy is TV. I have been binging nonstop Only Murders in the Building.
Mm.
So good. I love it. Like mystery. It feels like one of those fun mysteries that you used to read as a kid, right? Like the Boxcar Children or the Hardy Boys or, like something like that where there is a set mystery to solve and by the end of it it's going to come to like resolution, and I love it for that reason. Outside of that, what used to make me feel so cozy as a kid was ABC Family's like 13 Days of Halloween.
Oh yeah, me
Yes.
too.
Right?
Wait, is that back
Yes.
already?
They put it on Disney.
So
No,
what
not yet.
I've been
Right.
doing is because like there's so many different streaming grossness going on these days. Like
Can't even keep
just
up with
plan-
how many streaming
I plan my
channels.
own.
Yeah.
I plan my own.
Nice.
So
Love that.
I've been
That's so good.
planning. Yes, I've been planning my 13 Days of Halloween. Haven't started yet, but it's going to be, more mature than
Okay.
ABC Family or Freeform
Right.
might do.
Right.
So I'm going to, have some, Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Ooh, I used to love that movie.
Yeah.
And then The Conjuring.
And there's a new
and
I Know What
Paranormal
You Did Last
Activity.
Summer.
I know. I need to see
That's
it.
right. I haven't watched that yet either. I forgot that came out. Because
Mm-hmm.
it
Even-
still use Courtney Cox, right?
No,
Yes.
that's Scream that you're thinking about.
Oh
It's
no,
Courtney
that's Scream.
Cox.
It was
Freddie
God,
Love
Prinze
Hewitt.
Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I love my 80s and 2000s slasher films. So yeah, I haven't seen the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. Cautiously optimistic about it. Like any kind of reboot in a horror
Yeah.
franchise,
Yeah.
I feel like is going to be kind of like comedy horror
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm still going to watch it and I'm still going to love it because
It's
I
more like
love
the
that
nostalgia
franchise.
factor.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I do like that Disney though, and they always do right when October starts, is they'll do like a spooky channel. And so they'll put
Yeah.
all of like the Disney's, like
Halloween
Hocus
Town.
Pocus,
Halloween Town,
Halloween
yeah.
Town, the Night Before
Twitches.
Christmas,
Yes.
Twitches, that one. They'll put all of those and like cartoons and shows that also have those episodes. They'll put them all into that. And so like I do get excited and I'll go to the spooky channel every now and then and like I'll watch something from
Yeah.
there. So
You
Yeah, that's
can
fun.
tell immediately what age group we are of Disney. Like
I know.
Disney Channel original movies. Like I don't even think they have those anymore. Like
I don't think so. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
not like a whole cohort of Disney celebrities like there used to be with our generation.
right. Yeah.
right.
So,
like the
yeah.
Look of the Irish and Xenon,
Oh my
Girl
gosh,
of the
yeah.
20th Century.
Yeah.
my God,
The Hillary Duffs, the
yes.
Miley Cyruses that
Cadet
came out
Kelly,
of that. Yeah. Oh my God.
We're here
Oh my
geeking
gosh,
out.
so fun. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Hey book friends, it's Ethan. When I think about cozy reading essentials, slippers are at the very top of the list. A while back, I got my first pair of Bombas gripper slippers, and honestly, I wasn't expecting them to feel all that different from the other brands that I'd tried. But here's the thing, these are next level. They keep my feet warm and toasty without ever looking frumpy, so I can curl up with a book feeling both cozy and stylish. Bombas just knows how to do comfort right. And the best part is that for every item you buy, they donate one to someone in need. Since we're affiliates with Bombas now, we've dropped our link right into our newsletter. So if you're ready to upgrade your cozy essentials, be sure to subscribe and check it out there. You can always find the link in our bios on all of our social media accounts. We are Books Between Friends Pod across all social media platforms. It's a small way to support the show while keeping your toes happy. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so you guys, we have arrived at our final
We've
episode
made it.
of Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang with this episode. But before we dive in, I'm going to kick it over to Ethan real quick for a spoiler warning and some shout outs.
Yes. So, before we get started, this is your spoiler warning. If you're listening to this episode, by now, we are assuming you have read the entire book of Blood Over Brighthaven. So just beware of that. There are going to be spoilers throughout this episode, and we would love to hear from you. So if you are enjoying the content that we're putting out, we love making it, but just give us some love in the comments section, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, you guys, so we're going to start off with a quick summary before we get into our discussion.
Man, I'm just ready. I'm so ready.
Right?
Here we go.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, during her presentation, Sayana shocks the High Magistrate by opening a window showing a Quen village. And at the stroke of noon, the Master Spellographs switch, triggering Sayana's spell and opening Freynan mirrors at every conduit across the city, exposing the true source of Tiran's power. Chaos erupts, and she's arrested, and then riots break out across the city. While in jail, Alba comes to see her, and she's enraged with Sayana. She tells her that Aunt Winnie doesn't want to see her, and she never wants to talk to her again either. And then she slaps her across the face before leaving. Later that night, I know.
Sorry.
Later that night, Brigham arrives at the jail and uses his war staff to escort her through the violence to his mansion, where he'll keep her safe overnight so she can face trial before the High Magistrate in the morning. At his library that evening, he urges her to recant to save herself. He tells Sayana that the council has reframed the narrative, making the citizens believe that she used dark magic to create illusions, and Sayana refuses. And when she faces trial in the morning, she boldly defends her actions and is sentenced to death by poison. When asked for her final words after taking the poison, a rumbling that shakes the hall starts to swell. And as the hall lights up with blight, Sayana declares that that is her final word. But there's more. The night before her presentation, Sayana told Tamil about her failsafe plan and asked if he would activate the spell to expand the barrier. He refused, but she left him the spellograph anyway, just in case he changed his mind. They share a tentative kiss goodbye before Sayana leaves Tamil's apartment, and after wrestling with the choice, Tamil decides to activate the spell during her trial, siphoning the Magicenter's energy and killing all the mages inside to expand the barrier around Tiran. As the blight consumes her, Sayana dies, hoping that Tamil activated the spell for a chance at a better world for the Quen. Then Tamil and Kara are mourning the loss of Sayana on the rooftop of their apartment building after he activated the barrier expansion spell. And Renthorn and Mordra appear on the rooftop carrying their war staffs. But before they notice her, Kara hides, taking the spellograph with her. Renthorn demands that Tamil hand over the spellograph, saying that he tracked the unauthorized siphoning to this rooftop. And before attacking Tamil with his staff, Kara drops the spellograph on Renthorn's head, killing him. Before fleeing, Tamil spares a shaken Mordra, making him swear he will be better as the last living mage in Tiran. With the barrier expanding, Tamil and Kara flee toward the mountain caves outside of the city, fighting off barrier guards until a band of Quen helps them to escape. Then together, the group of Quen make the crossing towards home and hope. And that's the end.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
All right, so again, just to remind you guys of our structure, we are doing a 3-2-1, where we do 3 things that stuck out to us, 2 character moments, and then, since this is our final discussion on this book, instead of 1 theory or prediction, we're going to give our final review of this book. So, to start us off with our 3 things, my first thing that stuck out to me was Alba and Aunt Winnie. You guys, what?
That was heartbreaking.
How could they turn on her so quickly without even giving her a chance to explain herself? That's all we got from Alba and Aunt Winnie in this last part.
Yeah.
Alba comes and completely denounces her, tells her Aunt Winnie wants nothing to do with her either, and slaps her across the face. And that's their last interaction ever. I really didn't like that. I didn't feel like that was justified for those characters. They were such staunch supporters of Sayana, and they helped her to get to where she was in the Magistry, and she couldn't have done it without them. And she even started to finally acknowledge it in the end. But I can't accept that they would turn on her so quickly.
Yeah. And then you just pointed out in our last episode how she was the one to help Sayana turn around and turn her grief into something positive, something not optimistic, but just turn it into something that she can actually do instead of just sitting in her grief, right? And so I couldn't understand that either. I was really, really upset. And then the fact that how did they react to her death? How did they react to her trial? Did they feel did they feel happy that was her ending? I needed way more in that whole story. like way more.
Yeah, I was furious reading that part. I was like, what the hell? That makes no sense whatsoever. You were just consoling her in our last
Right.
section.
Yep.
And it is just a drastic, complete 180. I was like, you know what? I hope when you do learn of her death, I hope your slap across her face haunts you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because that was unwarranted.
Yeah.
Because I guess the moral of that story is doing the right thing, no matter how well-intentioned you are, can still have really hurtful and heartbreaking consequences.
Yeah.
But still, that sucked to read.
Yeah.
And I also think it shows just how rooted they were in their beliefs. Something like Tommel did try to warn her about this. And something you said, Stephanie, in your last episode, where you talked about your theory where you're exposing the truth is not going to do anything. And so this is showing that even the people that were closest to her still didn't see the bigger picture here.
Yeah. Like, I can kind of see why that choice was made by the author, but I just don't think it matches those two characters.
Right.
Like, I can understand that reaction from Sayana, because that is basically how she reacted to this truth. But yeah, I just don't agree that that would be Albin's and Aunt Winnie's reaction.
I was very heartbroken for Sayana here.
Okay, and then my second point was Mordra. He is now the only mage alive. Literally, he is the entire magistry at this point. How do I feel about that? I don't know that I'm feeling very great about that.
Here's
Like,
the
do we think he's
magistrate,
going to turn
Mordred.
things around? Like,
So
I'm not
glad.
confident in Mordred. Like, I can see that he's not as bad as, like, the rest of the magistry, because he was really grappling with the truth, and, like, he learned the truth during Sayana's presentation. He hadn't come across it and had no idea.
Right.
And he was devastated, you know, the way that Sayana was, and he was grappling after the barrier expansion spell siphoned the entire magistry. He was suffering from the loss of his entire family and all his friends in the magistry. So I can almost see a little inkling of maybe he can turn things around, but he just seems like a weak character to me. Like, that's where my concern is. He was easily manipulated. I know he ended up apologizing to Sayana for making things so hard for her. But that's the problem with his character to me, is that he's just so easily swayed, and I feel like he could be easily manipulated.
Right.
Just killing the entire magistry is not going to completely get rid of all the corruption in Tiran.
Right.
And so that's my concern.
Well, and I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, the author made him so weak from the beginning, starting in his exam, how he pretty much failed every spell, and how he just not a strong magic user, right? And so the one redeeming quality that she gave him was, you're right, he did apologize. But to me, I'm just like, hold the fuck on. You're leaving this whole thing to this dude right here. Are you kidding me?
Who's like barely qualified.
Yeah, not even qualified. If anybody was qualified to restart over a whole fucking government, it was Sayana, which they killed her off.
Right, so
Because she was
she's
the
not
only
an option.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
But
Even
Mordred-
Tamil would have been more qualified.
But fucking Mordred, I was not happy with that either.
I'm glad it's not Renthorn. I will give you that.
Well, yeah,
I'm so
fuck
glad
that.
it's not
I would have
Renthorn.
been pissed if that was the ending.
Yeah.
I would have been
Yeah,
so
yeah.
pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that gives you maybe a little bit of hope for Mordred is the fact that he was balking at what Rinthorn was saying
Yeah.
right there at the end. And
Right.
I was like, okay, like, yeah, at least your heart is in the right place.
Right.
But ultimately, this is like handing Dopey the dwarf the kingdom to Snow White's kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, he's so
Yeah.
not qualified.
I know.
And honestly, like, I'll talk about this in my rating that I gave this book, but this is such a commentary on how governments are run. And if he's going to be the one that is running this land from here on out, if he doesn't die from the Quinn that are still there,
Yeah,
then
for real, that too.
Right.
it's not in good hands, and basically an idiot is running this. So
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
take that what you will.
does he even know what he's going to do? I think I would have felt a little bit
Yeah.
more comfortable. I mean, obviously this is not real life, y'all, but I would have felt more comfortable if there was one of the high mages, or one of the archmages that I thought was like somewhat redeeming, and that was like Gemwin,
Gamlin.
Yeah.
who was starting to kind of see a little bit on Sayana's side. I was like, maybe if we would have taken one of them plus Mordra, like I would have felt better about leaving them in charge. But again,
Yeah.
it's not real life.
I don't know that we really had any good choices, to be honest.
True.
So,
Yeah.
I guess he's the least evil of all the evil
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I give Mordra a hard time, but in our defense, the author kind
Made
of
him
writes
that
him this
way.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's his
and so I'm
character.
like-
Yeah.
I'm like, he's it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Here we go. And then my third thing was Tom Melankara. Excuse me.
Exactly.
What? And then what? And then what? Especially Tom This character deserves more. Okay, so they just go back out into the Quentin hideout forever, or for the time being, and then what?
You're throwing them into the deep night where it's fucking freezing. What the fuck are you doing? Sorry.
So
Shouldn't be so strongly
I just-
worded.
just didn't like how open-ended their story was left.
Right.
And again, I said I feel like Tom Hill deserves more as a character. Okay, so they go hide out because there's riots still going on in the city. The barrier is expanding. Hopefully, Tiran will be better under Mordra's leadership. Who knows? Just
And
so
there
many questions left unanswered here.
And then there was a point too where he almost died had it not been for the
Right.
other Quinn to come save his life. I'm like,
Yeah.
you are not gonna kill Lost Sayana and then fucking Tomo. Like I was reading this and I'm like, no, you're not gonna do that. I was like, come on, somebody
Right.
come save him.
At least not in
Because
that
at that
way,
point, there was no
you
hope
know.
for Sayana. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was gone. The minute she drank that potion, I'm like, all right, that's
It's over.
That's how
See ya.
whoa, okay. I was like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo, man.
So those are my three things.
Okay, so let's get into this, okay? This got dark really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, really quickly. So, Hello, Blood Over Brighthaven, the title of the book. That's what we're dealing with here in
Yeah.
these final chapters.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is the visual that I got from it. Let me know, like, if it computes with what y'all were seeing. But it made it seem like that every time someone turned on, like, their coffee maker, a little Freynin window would appear by that coffee maker, showing you where that activation was coming
Yes.
from.
Yep.
So
Right.
poor squirrel, Mr. Wiggles out in the Quinn territory is being blighted, and that's where you get your, latte. Yum. But in addition to that, it made it seem like that light that we know as blight is coming over like their little barrier in the form of like blood.
So I don't know about that
Yeah.
last part. I do know what you're talking about with the little mirrors. Like, yes, they were being exposed. Anything that required siphoning, a mirror showed up, and you would see
Yes.
exactly where it was coming from.
Yeah.
And you could see the blood happening in the mirror, but I don't know that it was
Yeah.
coming over them.
Yeah, so it was also being projected onto the barrier over Tiran because that requires like constant siphoning. So there were like basically flashes of mirrors showing where that siphoning was coming from. So yes, you would see blood like across the sky because it was like projected
It was
onto
like
the barrier.
the barrier was also projecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that last part. I knew the first
Yeah.
part for
Yeah.
sure.
So this is where it like dipped into some horror elements right
It's
here
horrific.
because
Yeah.
I was like, man, she really went for it. Like,
Yeah.
talk about go big or go home here. Like
Yeah.
that
No
was on a
holds
scale.
barred. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of sick to my stomach reading it a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, like let me power through these pages right here. Like, but you were, Jen, in our last episode, you were talking, people love this book for a reason, and I think this is probably it, because this is pretty epic in scale
Yeah.
Yeah.
on how she's revealing the truth. And I feel like I called it a little bit on what she was going to do, but
Yeah.
not necessarily
In that
the
magnitude?
trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not on that magnitude, but the trigger
Right.
on the worst case scenario happening, which it did, right? They still didn't, they were still going to accuse her of, dark magic, and they were just going to explain it away that way because they were going to explain it away as her using dark magic. That also confirmed to me that what you, Steph, and Jen have been suspecting all along, that Sabernan, like the traitor mage, they accused him of dark magic, and they were prepared to do the same with her.
Yeah.
So, we can assume that he was also trying to reveal
Yeah.
the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's been officially confirmed in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
It
was
wasn't like written
epic.
confirmed, but to me, yes, it's also confirmed that's basically what happened to Sabernan. It's just Sayana was the only one who basically had the guts to take it a step even further. Instead of just trying to like siphon every individual mage, she just took them all out in one blow.
So, okay,
Oh
so
my God.
I'm gonna share my thoughts because this was one of my points too, Ethan. So I just want to share my thoughts now. So
Sure.
I wrote on mine that this was absolutely brutal. Like just what you said, it took a very dark turn. I cannot imagine being on the other side of that. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna light a fire, blah blah blah, and this shit unfolds in front of me. I'm like, what is happening? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Imagine being on the other side of that. Like,
I know.
just being a citizen, unknowing citizen, And so
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, like,
I'm just thinking, like, I'm going to take a nice hot bath.
Yeah. And
right.
then,
And then like, oh. Well, like that's basically what happened to the guy that was driving her to jail. They
Yeah.
crashed the car because
Yeah.
he couldn't
He couldn't handle
bear
that.
to see
Yeah.
all the siphoning that was happening.
And, okay,
It's
like-
awful.
I'm not saying that was what Sayana did was wrong, but I'm gonna argue that it probably was not the best way to go about this. Like,
You think?
holy shit, it was absolute chaos. And the thing is, like,
Yeah.
again, I'm sorry, and I love her, I really do, for doing the right thing, but she was not thinking more than
didn't
what
think it
in the
through.
moment. She didn't think about the Quinn.
Yeah.
She didn't think about how the Tiran were gonna act. She did not think about how this was gonna turn all of this pent up anger into all this fucking chaos. Like every single
Crazy.
person got turned against her, y'all.
Yeah,
I
everybody.
wish-
Yeah.
I wish it had been like one of those moments like we see in superhero movies, like where someone just learns of the injustice of society and they want to correct it, like Sayana does. But the person, usually there's someone in their network, like Tamil, that is a victim of the injustice that she has just come to learn about. And he's like, I need you to pull your head out of your ass for just a second. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to fix this overnight. Like, this is systemic, right? And so be smart.
Yeah.
If you want to fix something, be smart about it. Do little bits of revelation here and there, but don't do it all at once.
Okay, but Tamil did try to do that, and she was just so
He did, yeah.
stubborn and
Yeah.
so set on what she wanted to do, what she thought was the
Right.
right thing, what she thought needed to happen. Like, again, going back to just her freaking her character,
Her
right?
ego.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it got thrown back at her. I even wrote down a quote that Alba had said to her. And I'm not saying that this is right, and I'm not saying that they are correct in turning against her. But like
No,
this,
but there's some aspect of truth in it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the quote that I wrote was, whenever she went over there and pretty much denounced her, right? She said, "Since when do you care about other people? Since when have you ever cared about the work Mama and I put in for you? Now other people matter. Now that they're a way for you to get attention for your magic. How is this helping anyone? The Quinn have all gone mad, turned into animals. And what about your people, Sayana? What about the people who loved you when nobody else would? Who sacrificed everything so you could have your unmarried intellectual life exactly the way you wanted? How could you do this to us?" And so that's why
Yeah.
and I get it. It's a standalone, so it had to end somehow. But I feel like there just could have been a better way to go about this.
There could have been more for that part of the story to like wrap up a little bit better. There definitely could have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways,
So
Yeah.
that's what I thought
So
about that
yes, yeah, huge moment there, that got
Yeah.
dark really quickly.
Yeah.
And I was, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And she said that that spell only lasted 30 minutes. And look at the chaos that it caused.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, it went
That's a
on
lot
for
to think
days.
about. My second thing, when I was reading through this, I was very confused about the barrier.
Yep.
I was like, why is it still there?
Yep.
Why is it still there? Why are we emphasizing the barrier? Like, it was talking about when Tamil and Kara were running, they could see the barrier expanding in front of them. And I was like, why? But then, literally, as I was typing this in our notes, I was like, oh, I guess that's it. Like, maybe not necessarily that it's an emphasis on the barrier and it's still being there, but it just happened to be a natural consequence of the siphoning of all the mages. So I don't think it was necessarily intentional that, you know, that the barrier is still up and it's necessary and all of that. I just think it happened to be a side effect of all the mages being siphoned. And that also gives us some insight as to how the barrier originally got there in the first place. Right. So if we're thinking that they did set up Tiran in the place where the Maedra once were, that's probably how it came to be in the first place.
Yeah, and I kept thinking that too. I'm like, what is, like, why was she talking about the expanding the barrier? But then I also thought, is it because she made it with her spell to where the siphoning had to happen just within so that everybody else could get out of that way so they can, like, leave the barrier and be free from the siphoning? Because all the siphoning is happening outside of the barrier. So does she move all the siphoning to be happening within the barrier so that other people can leave and be safe from it? Like, I didn't understand the barrier either.
The siphoning of the Magia Center powered the expansion of the barrier. And before, I don't think I was clear in my head that the barrier not only is like the forbidden coordinates where you can't siphon so that you don't kill people inside of Tiran, but I think it also protects Tiran from the
deep end, or the deep night, sorry.
The elements.
The
It
like
protects them from the
elements of the
Yeah.
Quen. So
Okay.
like from our understanding, it's extremely cold in the Quen. It's like always snowing, but there's no snow in Tiran. It's like, you know, warmer. And they even mention several times when Quen make the crossing that it's warmer once they cross the barrier. So I guess it's almost like a cocoon that keeps them protected from the elements outside of it. And so that barrier was being siphoned from that 2-mile radius outside of it
Mm-hmm.
that the Quen call the crossing. But now Sayana's spell makes the Magia Center the area where the barrier gets its power
Siphoning
to
from
expand further.
And I
Yeah.
got that part. I guess I'm with Ethan. Like, what's the purpose of having the expansion then? If like the Quen are leaving, who are you protecting? You're still protecting the Tiran within.
Well,
I
not
don't
all of them left the
necessarily-
city.
yeah.
They were
That's true.
still riding across the city.
True.
So there will still be Quen in Tiran after this happens. It's just going to be a larger city now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, the barrier gave me a little bit of confusion. So that was my second thing. My third thing is Rinthorn. He met his fate, baby. He met his fate. I feel like it was one of those scenes where the villain, like, that you just love to hate, is stuck outside where the monster is, and they see the monster just like coming in, and like there's nothing that they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, our villain is Rinthorn, and the monster in this case is Kara, because he didn't even stand a chance, and she just brought that spellograph right on his poor little head.
She's
And so-
smushed
Oh, that
it
was so
in.
good.
Yeah,
I
she
loved
did. She
it.
went Walking Dead style. Yeah,
Talk
Rinthorn
about
is with us
brutal.
no longer. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hey, she had to make sure that dude was dead because fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't, like, everything he was talking about doing, and like just
Yeah.
the fact that he was like, excited that they were all dead.
Right.
Like, dude, you cannot.
He was excited
rule.
they were all dead. He was excited that he was
Including
going to
his
be
father.
the Archmage Supreme. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would have been so bad.
No.
So I'm glad that he met his fate the way that he did. He definitely
Yes.
got his just desserts.
Yeah.
Another piece of commentary saying that when one is taken down, then there's another one ready to come right behind him.
Literally.
Well, I'm so upset that we don't know what the heck happened to Tiran after this.
Yeah, that's still a big question
I'm
mark.
so convinced that authors do this with every intention of, yes, this is going to be a standalone, but if it gets enough traction, maybe it'll write
Mhm.
another one in the
I
future.
haven't heard
That's a
of
good point.
anything happening with this book, but yeah, maybe. I
Yeah,
mean, people like to drag it out, right?
yeah, could be.
All right. So, my three things, we already talked about one. We talked about the exposure of the truth. My
Hmm.
second one, and I need you guys to help me with this one because
Yes, bring it on.
my goodness,
Bring it on.
the freaking discussion between Sayana and Brigham at his house. I was
Oh my God.
hella confused here. Like, it was, well, first, it was really weird to read. I felt really grossed out with the way Brigham was talking to Sayana the entire time. I just
Okay.
did not fully understand still where Brigham was coming from. So I'm going to tell you what I
Hmm.
thought, and then I'll see what you guys thought. So, and this whole conversation, it kind of got revealed that he saw himself as her father figure, that he chose her because she didn't have a father and he didn't have a daughter. So he kind of wanted to create that relationship between them. But then she was talking about her legacy and like him picking her up because she was smart and he wanted to take credit for that, I guess. Like, I guess I just didn't understand. Like, why was he so set on protecting her? Why was he so set on having Sayana to himself? Like, I don't get it. Can you guys
So
explain?
my understanding of
Guilt
him
ridden.
is that, yes, his way to atone for keeping this secret of the blight for him, and this is totally convoluted in my opinion, but he thinks that being a champion of women will absolve him of this burden. And so he's using Sayana as basically his absolution. Sayana, look, okay, yes, maybe I covered up the blight secret, whatever, but look at what I did for women. Like I was the one who helped the first high mage female to come up to where she was, and I employ all these women. Don't worry about the fact that I'm poisoning them,
Right.
That they can't have
but that was
babies. Yeah.
his way. Yeah, that was his way of kind of like almost canceling out the bad that he was doing by covering up the secret of the blight to try to, I don't know, make himself feel better about it. It again is completely convoluted in my opinion and doesn't
Yeah.
make any moral sense to
Yeah,
me.
what a twisted
But
way of
that was
thinking.
his twisted way of atoning for this.
But yeah, that's exactly what I got from it as
Okay.
well. Like because his textile factory has fumes that make women infertile, right? Like they
Hmm.
can't have children. And so he feels guilt because of that, and then he feels guilt because of the truth of the blight.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so combined, if I can be the one responsible for the first, like you were saying, Steph, for the first female, high mage, whatever, then maybe that will help me out here. What's also like it made me very much think of, like the largest contributors to lung cancer research are cigarette companies,
Hmm.
right? And so like that's exactly what this is right here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, I was like, I still hate you. Like you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
an awful,
It
awful
doesn't
man.
cancel out what you're doing over
No.
here
Yeah.
to like throw resources and effort over here. That's still happening.
Well, and then the other thing that I was just kind of freaked out and grossed out about was that she was still feeling some kind of way about his disappointment in her. And I
Yeah.
know that speaks on her growth and like, her trying to grow out of that. But I'm just like, at this point, I'm over it. Let it go,
Yeah.
Sayana. He is not a good person. Why are you still trying to hold on to this relationship with him when clearly you literally just learned that he's like sterilizing all these women? And he did this because of the kind of person that he is, trying to cover up the fact that he's not a good person. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a
Yeah.
really weird section, and I did not like the whole conversation. Like it creeped me out when I was reading it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very dysfunctional father-daughter dynamic. And if you think about Brigham being Sayana's only true father figure,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not he's a flawed father figure, it's still really difficult to denounce that.
True.
What I did appreciate though was that she was taking any opportunity to get some real emotion out of him. And I was like, yes,
Oh, when she
yes,
tried
let
to
me
anger
see.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me see him crack. Like
When he
I,
finally, yeah,
yeah,
it
that
did.
was
That
that
was
was chef's kiss right there.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, please.
All right, and then my third point was on we already like kind of touched on this a little bit, but it was Sayana and Tomo's final act. So their final time together was, y'all, it was so
Aw.
heartbreaking. The romance girl in me was
Yeah.
heartbroken for them.
I know.
I really wish they had more time together, honestly. I mean, let's talk about that final act of rebellion. Again, we kind of already talked about it, but there was this class that I took. I'm not going to tell you what class it was, but my professor was very much against like the status quo. Like she was just very much against, us wanting to fight back, not making sure that we were falling into conformity, right? So we were having class one day, and I remember she said, "Let's just burn it all." And we all just started laughing. But she was serious, right?
Oh my God.
And what's funny about it was that, like, I was thinking that when this was happening, just burn the whole place down. If we can't make them see it our way, let's just crash it all down and burn it all down and hope that that
Start from scratch.
over. Yeah, better, right? And so that was exactly what was going through my mind when all this was happening.
Little push of the button.
Oh, but
Yeah.
I was just so sad. Like, a little part of me thought that somebody was going to come save her right before she took the poison. But the minute she took it, I was like, all right, nah, she's a goner. She literally sacrificed herself just to expose the truth to everyone. Like, it was just... Steph, you called it immediately in the last episode. So, like, you knew that she wasn't going to make it out of it. She knew she wasn't going to make it out of it. But again...
Well, I wasn't sure if it was going to be her or Tomil. I thought it was going to be one of the two.
Right. Yeah.
So...
But yeah, this is one of those things where I wish I had more of a story, like the rebuilding of Tyrion, what happened to the Quen after, because it just honestly didn't seem like this made it any better for them, which was the whole point, right? Like, I don't feel like this made the living situation better for the Quen, which was the whole point of exposing the truth, right? To save this tribe, to save these people. I don't know. But I do love what Sayana does say to Tomo. Like, I love their last moment together. She says, "It's strange, isn't it? I realize your soul matters to me. Whatever weighing system the gods employ in the next life, you matter to me. If I'm going to die, I want to go knowing I left you safe and right with yourself." And then Tomo says, "Even if it means the ruin of your legacy, if it means you die a footnote in your own story." And she says, yes. So I'm like, all right, she finally, like, she finally saw somebody that was worth more than just herself. And it was Tomo, and I'm sure his niece too, right? And so I loved it. It was just super bittersweet. I really wanted them to know more.
Like, I agree. And I'll talk a little bit more about Sayana and her arc in my review. But yeah, like I did like that moment where she finally put someone else above her needs, her ego, her legacy. They mattered more than all of that to her. So that was great to see.
Yeah. I just wish we saw more of the Quen, because that was the whole point of everything she did.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So...
There's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to Quinn.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time. Okay, so next we're going to talk about our two character moments. So I'll start with mine. So my first character moment comes up in chapter 20 when Brigham and Duras are escorting Sayana out of jail, and they drive through her neighborhood and she sees all the destruction from the riots. And the quote is, "It was the poor of Tiran who bore the brunt of this horror on both sides." So this was the moment when it sank in for Sayana that the people who were responsible for the blight and all the corruption in Tiran, the high magistracy, the government, they aren't really the people who were going to be held accountable for this.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's, the working class. Like, her neighborhood is a working class neighborhood where she mentioned that both Quen and working class, lower class, Tyranish people live side by side as neighbors. And that's where she noticed the bulk of the destruction, the worst of the destruction had happened in the riots. So I liked seeing this moment for Sayana where she could realize just blowing it up isn't going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't even touch the magistracy. Like,
Yeah.
Duras had this car that he was able to invent that helped him just drive through all the destruction in the city completely untouched. And then the staff that Brigham was using to escort her through the streets, they were unharmed completely. So the people who were really suffering were the people who didn't have that power and resource. And then my second character moment came in chapter 21 at her trial when she addresses the council and her father.
That was hilarious.
Such a good moment.
But when they start the trial, she gets up and she addresses archmages. She nodded to the council and then to Paramus, her father. She says, "Father," and has like a big grin on her face. And then the mages and other politicians looked to Paramus in shock, and he paled. I just loved the pettiness of this moment. Like, there was no need for that moment at all. She didn't have to call him out like that.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. And I loved that moment for her because he was an asshole and he deserved it.
Yeah. I mean,
at that point, she has nothing to
Hell,
lose.
why not?
And I pictured in my brain, I was like, mages, father. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody knew. Yeah, she hadn't even told Brigham.
I mean, at
God,
the
that
end,
was
it
so
didn't matter
good.
because they all died, but
Yeah.
but it was a really great moment for her before she died.
I know. Love that for you, Queen.
All right. So my two character moments, of course, Sayana. Just the fact that she still did what she did, knowing what the consequences were going to be. I was like, that's bravery.
Yeah.
No matter how like ill-advised the action she took was, it was still brave in its own way.
Right.
And again, go big or go home, and she certainly went big.
Yeah.
And because I thought that she might be revealing it to the mages that didn't know the truth yet. I didn't expect her to reveal it to the whole city
In that way. Yeah.
in that way. Like, I was like, oh man, okay, yeah, you screwed the pooch on that one.
Time.
I just thought the most heartbroken I was for her was that she had to go into that situation with the knowledge that her family had turned their backs on her.
Yeah.
I was like,
really...
man, what a sucky way to go out. Like, ugh.
In the end, she only really had Tommel and Kara.
Yeah.
How
like,
ironic.
Nobody else had her back in that.
Yeah. Speaking of Tommel, he's my second one, of course.
I love him.
Yay.
And I was just like, man, he just really can't catch a break.
I know.
He's lost his whole tribe, including his sister. He gets beat up repeatedly, suffers the prejudices of others all day, every day.
Yeah.
And then he loses the girl that he came to love. Oof. That is the epitome of a Monday,
I know, seriously. Oh, poor Tommel.
So, I know, poor Tommel. Like, just great guy, and he certainly finished last here.
Yeah. Which really kind of goes into like my character moment that I chose. It's very last chapter 23, and it has to do with Tommel and Kara, and they're watching the destruction happen at the Imagine Center, right, where everybody's dying. And Kara starts crying, and she's just like, "Uncle, why am I crying?" And I just started laughing because she's not used to having that feeling, right? And then he was like, "Oh, it's because you're human." But anyways, it's what he said that like really broke my heart, and it goes back to what you just said, Ethan. Like, he just cannot catch a break. And so she asked him, Kara tells her uncle, like, "Did you love her?" And he said, "I did, but we're Quen in the age of blight. Our fate is to love and lose and lose and lose, but we keep going. This is nothing new for us, Kara. We keep going." And that just made me really sad, because I feel like if anyone deserves more in this book, it is freaking Tommel. Like,
Right.
Sorry, that's just how I feel about that.
I know. No, I completely agree.
I mean, I guess you can make the argument that at least he gets to live, but
to what?
I
guess.
At what cost?
Yeah.
Like, to what? Who's he gonna fall in love with now? Is his whole life just gonna be about making sure Kara is good and that's it? You're not gonna fall in love. You're not gonna get married. You're not gonna have your own children. Like,
I mean, I don't believe that he's never gonna find anyone, but it just sucks. It's like hard to move on from that.
exactly. Okay. So then my second character moment was in the very end where the Quen are making a run for it, where, this lady is holding her baby but she gets shot. And then Kara ends up grabbing the baby and tells her like she's got her. And it was just a beautiful full circle moment there, because the beginning of the story started with Tommel taking young Kara away from the safety when her own mother couldn't. And then Kara was doing the same thing for that Quen lady. And it just like, hopefully to me, it kind of just symbolized that the Quen were going to stay together and we're going to really come out of this, with a better end. That's kind of how I
hope
took
so.
that. That's how I
Yeah.
took that. I thought it was a cute, beautiful, full story moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, they definitely deserve way more than what they've gotten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the Quinn, even though you know that they're from different tribes, all of the Quinn really seem to come together at
Yeah.
the end and act as
Yeah.
one tribe instead
Yeah.
of separate ones.
That was good.
Y'all.
All right. So that wraps up our 2 character moments. So now, since this is the final discussion of our series on Blood over Brighthaven, we are now going to share our final reviews. So I'll start with mine. And I went ahead and gave this a 4 stars. And I needed to percolate on this ending for a while before I could write this review. And even up until this day, my opinion kept changing.
Yeah.
In fact, I finally just said, okay, no, wait, this is my final review today. A week after finishing, and I've been thinking about this almost nonstop since I finished reading it. So I'm going to start with what I loved. Sayana. She is absolutely a flawed character, but she's the result of, in her words, a rotten city built on lies. She had to become just like the corrupt men in charge of her society to reach the heights that she did. And I think this is such a good representation of what corruption does to a society and the way that you have to basically debase yourself in order to succeed in that kind of a corrupt system. So I liked that about her character. And I also liked her character arc. I felt like it was beautifully done because it was gritty, it was ugly, it was not perfect, and it was not 100% all the way there, even to the end, but it was so realistic. That's what I appreciate about it. In the end, she's exactly the type of imperfect hero that I just love to read in a story. So that part, I'm gonna give you your flowers, Emma Wang, for that one. That was a great character,
Yeah.
the way she wrote it. However, I'm not a fan of muddy endings. I just have to come to terms with that. I don't like how Tamil and Kara's story was left off so open-ended. Even the fate of Tiran is a huge question mark still. And then I also just was really disappointed with how Alba and Aunt Winnie's story ended.
Yeah.
Them turning on Sayana immediately was just, it wasn't right for me. It didn't sit right for me, and I just didn't like that. Those negatives for me knocked down a point. 5 stars for Sayana, but we're gonna take 1 point away for all these other things that I didn't like. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I also gave this one 4 stars. I took a professional development a while back when I was still in the classroom, and it was talking about what kind of reader are you, and she asked us to go around the room and asked what kind of reader are you, and I was like, I am the kind of reader that would always prefer to read a book in a series rather than a standalone. And so for this reason, I had a little bit of a hard time with that, only because I knew we were probably going to have some unanswered questions because of that. And so to your point, Steph, I do also have issues with muddy endings sometimes, as you called it. And I need that kind of closure. So that will drive me insane for years to come now.
Yeah.
Fair.
As a standalone, it does serve as more of a commentary on certain things, because I feel like you can probably do that really well when it's just a standalone. The Giver was meant to be a standalone instead of a series.
Yeah.
And so you can really dive in and do some comparisons that way, which I love. I'm all for that. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of looking for a bit of an escape rather than an intellectual exploration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't mind having those conversations and I really enjoy it, but I feel like this one kind of hit me over the head with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Had it been a little more, just a smidge. Had it been a little more subtle, I think it would have been a lot more fun to discuss. But I was like, man, I feel like I have to be angry with this book.
Yeah.
And so I think this was true dark academia just because of the setting and stuff like that. So I loved that aspect of it. I love Sayana. I love Tamil. And I gave it 4 stars and not anything lower because this book is going to stay with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm going to be thinking of it, and I will recommend it. Like, it is a good book.
Yeah.
I just had some issues with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right. So for me, I'm usually the one that always rates things 5 stars. I could not give this one 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 though.
Okay, fair.
I love the book. I really loved both Tommel and Sayana. I feel like they both just captured my heart throughout this whole book. Just seeing what this world did to both of them was truly heartbreaking, and I just love seeing both of them grow. They were just two different characters going in two different pathways, but I absolutely fell in love with both. I related a lot to Sayana, as I mentioned in our first episode, with her thirst for knowledge and wanting to be a role model for women. And even at times, I related to her where I know maybe I've been a little selfish when it comes to like my own pursuit of achievement. In the end, she gave the ultimate sacrifice for what was right. And I'd like to believe that I would do the same for the people that I love. I didn't give a full 5 stars only because there was just some areas that dragged a little too much for me, for my taste. Kind of what you mentioned, Ethan, the academic part. And again, I am totally not against that because obviously I love school, but this is escapism, exactly what you said. Like, I want to have fun with the book. I want to fall in love with people falling in love. Like, I needed more of Tommel and Sayana, but some bits dragged. And then there was just a lot of things that didn't come full closure, full circle for me. And I just did not like that. So I think overall it was a great read. I was left wanting more. And I don't like that.
Totally.
Especially if I know there's no other book coming.
Yeah.
I want to feel satisfied. I want to feel satisfied with the ending, and I just did not feel satisfied with this one. So,
I feel like this book would have been perfect for an in-person book club. Like,
ooh, yeah.
We call ourselves a book club podcast, and I think that's true. If you're in person, obviously we're not in person, so it can be kind of more difficult to have those in-depth conversations that I feel like this book probably requires. So in that case, it is a perfect book for that avenue.
I was just going to say, so we've gotten people commenting on our stuff, and every time they talk about how much they love this book, I said, this book really ignites a lot of really great discussion. It really does. Like every episode, there was something I wanted to talk about. There was something I made sure I wanted to bring up. Like there have been other times where I'm like, I don't know what to say exactly. But like this one had a lot to discuss because you could see it in a lot of different ways. Like Sayana by herself ignites a lot of discussion. Like you can see it in both ways. You can see her as a hero or you can see her as an anti-hero too. The way she went about things wasn't the way that other people would have gone about it. But then her
and controversial for sure.
Exactly. And so I think that just her herself would have been a great discussion point throughout the whole book.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of like a parallel between Sayana and Brigham now that I'm thinking about it, right? Like he's doing what he did for Sayana because he felt guilt and she also feels guilt and that's why she's doing what she's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
As we're saying this, we're giving our final ratings and we're still having discussion. So
exactly.
I know.
It was a great book.
And it's funny, like I almost saw a parallel with Sayana and Renthorn. Like both of them were so devout to their practice. But like they were two sides of the same coin. Like Sayana used her skill for good. Renthorn was gonna do it all for bad. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
So many good points, you guys.
Yeah.
So don't like this book. It's definitely worth it.
It is worth it.
Yes,
I definitely recommend it to anybody wanting to read this.
Yeah.
All right, book friends, that was our final discussion of Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. Let's keep the discussion going. We are Books Between Friends pod on all platforms. So thank you for interacting with us on our socials. We are loving the comments we are getting, so please send more our way. We would love to see you there.
All right, guys, we are diving next into The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. So we're closing the doors.
So excited.
Yes. We're closing the doors on Blood Over Brighthaven, but we're not staying away from dark magic for long. Our next deep dive is The Bewitching, a gothic time-bending story that twists across generations. Now, this book doesn't have a traditional chapters 1 to 3. Instead, it's going to pull us through 1998, 1908, and even 1934 as past and present collide. So secrets, curses, and forbidden magic linger in every timeline, making this the perfect spooky season read. So grab your coffee, light a candle, and get ready to unravel The Bewitching with us.